We are just a few days away from the Pacific Championships taking place for their second iteration. Squads have been named, teams are about to get ready, so let's go into a proper deep dive into how all these teams will line up and what I think will happen. The Australian team under coach Mal Meninga has had a bit of a selection issues in terms of trying to get players and who to pick over who, but he has pulled out a very solid squad. Going in, for example, one of the more contentious positions was fullback. Dylan Edwards was the player that ended up getting selected. But Xavier Coates and Zach Lomax will be playing it on the wings, arguably the two best wingers in the comp, pretty fair. Hamisa Tabuai-Fidow and Tom Trbojevic in the centres. Tom Dearden and Mitchell Moses are set to be the playmakers for the Kangaroo squad. Forward back, you've got featuring Captain Isaiah Yeo and Vice Captain Harry Grant with Patrick Carrigan, Lindsay Collins, Angus Crichton and Cameron Murray. And then you've got your reserves currently set at Matt Burton, Mitch Barnett, Ruben Cotter, Hudson Young, Ben Hunt, Lindsay Smith, Reece Robson and Bradman Best. A very strong squad, obviously a big selection point being how they went in State of Origin, and it shows with a lot of players being featured obviously in the State of Origin. Moving into the defending holders of the Pacific Cup, New Zealand. To say the very least, New Zealand have had a lot of problems with injury and suspension. This right here is a list of all the players who have been eligible to play for New Zealand but can't because of either injury or suspension. You can make a pretty solid team out of that. They have gone for Aaron Clark, Phoenix Crossland, James Fisher-Harris, Peter Hiku, Jermaine Asako, Keanu Keeney, Mason McLean, Griffin Niam, Chancellor Cole Clockstead, Cody Nikarima, Marata Niokore, Isaiah Papali'i, Jordan Ricky, Scott Sorensen, Joseph Tarpany, Leo Thompson, Matthew Tomoko, Trent Talau, Will Warbrick, and Nafau White. And finally, because of a late replacement for the injured Jerome Hughes, Sean Johnson in his final matches of Rugby League. Now we move into the final team participating in the Pacific Cup, and that is Tonga. Obviously, Tonga were not a part of the Pacific Cup last year as they were busy in a test series with England, but now they'll be replacing Samoa and competing in their first Pacific Championship, and their team is not messing around. Lehigh Opawate, Daniel Tupou, Moses Sully, Paul Alamotti, Sione Katoa, Tumala Lahea, Isaiah Katoa, Adam Fanua-Blake, Siliva Havili, Felice Kafusi, Hamal Olakaatu, Eli Katoa, Jason Tamalalo, and cheeky little reserves of Sony Luke, Satili Tupanua, Taniela Paseka, Kion Kolamatangi, Tolatau Kola, Siwa Wong, Isaiah Iongi, and Kulakefu Finafuaki. Just saying right here, that forward pack, damn. From the Pacific Cup, teams will now move down to the Pacific Bowl sides. Fiji have named themselves a pretty solid team, not gonna lie, like it is. Fiji have named themselves an absolute belter of a side with considerable NRL talent named throughout them. To do justice to them from a internationals video I made a couple of years ago where I basically butchered most of their names, I'm going to absolutely belt this one shot. So for the Fiji Bati, you've got Sania Taruva, Semi Valamai, Marcus Sevo, Tarn Milne, Jethro Rinakama, Michael Jennings, Kevin Aguama, Waka Blake, Kurt Donahue, Caleb Navale, Kidione Katoga, Viliami Kikau, Tui Kamikamika, Jordan Miller, Nathan Kegg-Smith, Kylan Mafoa, Ben Nakubawai, Penny Takatuma, Joe Lavadua, James Velavatu, and Bailey Bentley Harpe. Respect to the Fiji brethren. I have redeemed myself, or not. I probably just did terribly as well. But anyways, pretty solid team. Papua New Guinea have named a decent looking side with several NRL players involved as they look to go back-to-back in the bowls and potentially play in a promotion relegation playoff to advance themselves into the Pacific Cup. Their team consists of Jacob Alekwienki, Isla Alu, Koso Bandy, Jack DeBellin, Robert Darby, Liam Horn, Lachlan Lamb, Kyle Labert, Reese Martin, Robert Mathias, Nene McDonald, Maria, Sylvester Namo, Valentine Richard, Judah Rimbu, Elijah Altinga, Dan Russell, Jeremiah Simbinkin, Roderick Tai, Sani Wabo, and Kaya Wayembi. So the real question is, can this PNG side make it 2 from 2 and potentially get themselves promoted into the Pacific Cup? And last but not least, we've reached the Cook Island side, who will round out the Pacific Bowl. You've got Rickson Andrew, Reece Dakin, Isom Oka, Makahesi Makatoa, Justin Makariri, Eason Masters, Stephen Masters, Davey Moale, Tapai Morea, Malachi Morgan, Rua Ngatakora, Pride Peterson, Rabadi, Ruben Porter, Ruben Rennie, Brad Takarangi, Kobe Tararo, Mason Teague, Junior Teroy, Zane Tedavano, Delahia Wigmore, and Xavier Willison. And that right there rules out the entirety of all the squads in the Pacific Championships. So, what do I think will happen? Now we will get into how I think both the bowl and the cup will go. Starting off with the bowl. The first match of the bowl in week 1 takes place this Saturday with Fiji taking on Papua New Guinea. This match, in all honesty, for my sake, I think will be the match that ends up being the Pacific Bowl final. And it should be a quite close first affair, but I believe Fiji will take the week 1 win. Week 2 will see Fiji playing again on the 26th of October, taking on the Cook Islands, which I do believe Fiji will win that as well, which leaves week 3 between Papua New Guinea and the Cook Islands, essentially as whoever wins will play Fiji in the Pacific Bowl, which I believe Papua New Guinea will win. So for week 4, with the final being Fiji against Papua New Guinea, I believe Fiji will win and they will take out the Pacific Bowl. I guess revenge for last year, but again, that's just my thoughts. But now we move on to the Pacific Cup, which it gets a lot more interesting. This Friday, the Kangaroos will take on Tonga. Obviously, images draw back to 2019, where Tonga did defeat Australia. Currently, in terms of the betting odds, Tonga are paying $5.50 to win, which honestly, if you even just go with that just for the value, do not blame you. However, I think Australia will win this match in a very close affair. Then in week 2, you have the New Zealand Kiwis take on the Kangaroos in Christchurch. I think this match will also be close, but I do think Australia will just have the edge out, essentially qualifying them straight away for the Pacific Cup, with week 3 becoming the game to qualify for the final position. In Auckland on Saturday, November 2nd, when New Zealand take on Tonga, I think Tonga wins, leaving us with the Pacific Cup final in Parramatta being Australia versus Tonga. And in the final, Tonga will get their week 1 revenge and win the Pacific Cup. So that's the run through and predictions done for the Pacific Championships. Who do you guys think will win? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all later.